Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kate if you're new here. I like to talk about all things luxury. And today I want to talk kind of more of a luxury minimalism topic. I want to talk about things that I no longer buy and like the luxury designer space, kind of all around, not only handbags that I don't buy, but just things that I don't buy anymore in general. I learned having some defined categories really helps me with this whole luxury minimalism journey. And it's not that I'm trying to stop buying luxury altogether. I really enjoy having designer pieces. I really like some of the things that these brands make. I love buying pre-loved and vintage items. It's something that I really like, but I think that also I have to have a structured way to control it, especially because these things are so expensive that it affects your money, and also it affects how much stuff is in my apartment. Like at the end of the day, I live in an apartment. I probably will live in an apartment for a long time. I don't really have an interest in like buying a house right now. I live near the beach in Southern California, so the housing prices out here, like if you're not spending like 3 million, like there's no point. Like, and if you don't have it in cash, like there's no point. Why? They already have 3 cash offers. Plus you got to worry about all this stuff having a house. Like having a house is hard. I will probably be doing apartment living for at the very least the next 5 years or so. You get so much cool stuff with apartments too. Like you have all these amenities. If anything happens, you can just call someone and emergency maintenance will be there immediately. It's nice. It is a luxury living in an apartment, okay? But that's not the point. The point is that I'm always going to have somewhat of a limited amount of space. Usually you don't have your own garage that you can store stuff in or your own basement that you can put stuff in. You don't have all of these big storage spaces even when you live in a pretty big sized apartment. I would say that our apartment right now is pretty large and we still have like limited storage space. So the less clutter and the less things that I can have in my home, the better, and also the easier that it is to move. So I have a lot of flexibility when it comes to moving. If I want to move to a different city and live somewhere else, I can just pick up and go. Like that kind of stuff is really important to me, and I cannot stand the actual process of moving. Obviously nobody likes moving, but like if I can do anything that I can to have less stuff, like it makes it so much easier. I just want to be that type of carefree, you know? So these are things that I no longer buy in like the luxury designer space area. There are other things that I don't buy too, but I mainly want to focus on the luxury ones today. So first off, this is probably the biggest category that I don't buy anymore. Shoes. At all. No shoes. And this was one of my New Year's resolutions. It is almost June. By the time this video goes up, I think it will be June. And I still have not bought a single pair of shoes this year. And that is pretty great. I have more designer heels than anyone ever needs. And I don't even wear a lot of them. So my goal is to try to like, I guess like shop your closet kind of thing. My goal is to really reach for the shoes that I don't reach for a lot and bring out some of the ones that I've actually never even worn, and to not add anything else because I don't need to. My other goal was to get rid of some shoes this year. I've already gotten rid of like 3 or 4 pairs. I've already sold those, and I probably will sell some more. We're moving again soon, so I want to get some more things out of here before we move. And that's one of those things that I can really declutter, is to sell some more shoes. So I definitely don't need to be bringing in any more shoes. Like that's done for me. And I have been like a little bit tempted a couple times, but since I have like a flat out rule, like no buying shoes, and I've already stuck to it for 6 months almost, I think that it makes it easier for me. I'm like, oh, I just gotta make it the rest of the year. Like I can't just give up now, like over 1 pair of shoes. Is that really worth giving up one of my New Year's resolutions? Like, I don't think so. The next category is designer jewelry and watches. I have learned something about myself over the years, and it is that I am just not super into jewelry. I'm just not. Really into bags. I'm really into shoes. I just don't think that jewelry is necessarily my thing, especially designer, like name brand jewelry, like Cartier and Van Cleef, the two that are like super, super, super popular right now. I just am not, there's nothing in me that I feel okay with spending like $5,000 on like a Van Cleef item. Like it's so small. Like that's always been my thing about jewelry. Like it's like this, like it's small. Like you can hold it in your hand like this. How does it cost that much money? That's wild. I'm sure people say the same thing about bags because it's true. Like they're only like this big. How can it cost like $10,000? So I totally get it, but it's funny because jewelry just has never really done it for me. And I think that the reason that I had to have this rule though is because I see everybody else with it. I go on Instagram, I look at YouTube, any type of luxury influencer that you see is going to have on their Van Cleef Alhambra necklace. They're going to have on their Cartier Love bracelet or bracelets. Like anybody that you come across that's into luxury or designer items at all seems to have those 2 items. I feel like I am like, oh, well, like I should have those too. And then I'm like, girl, you don't even care about that stuff. Like stop. I have to stop myself consciously on those. The other thing that I do like, I like watches though. I'm really interested in watches. I don't know how to say this. I'm interested in watches, but I don't really think that I should spend money on them because I only wear an Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch Ultra, by the way. I love it so much. I actually got it for Christmas, but this is like $700 watch, right? And I bought the Hermes band for it, which was like $300. So still $1,000 setup. Like that's an expensive watch still, but that's like nothing compared to how much a lot of these watches cost. I really liked the Serpenti wraparound one, which I think is around $6,000. But I had to think about like how often am I really going to wear it, because that means that I can't wear my Apple Watch. And it's just so functional. Like I can't not wear my Apple Watch. I love it. I use the little button on the side. It turns the screen into the flashlight because it's got like a ton of brightness. I got all my gadgets on here. Like I need to wear my Apple Watch and I don't want to give that up to wear another watch. So why spend money on another watch? Next up, impulse purchases of any kind. For me, my impulse purchases a while back, it's been years since I did this, but I would go to Nordstrom Rack after work pretty often. I used to do that like all the time. And I would impulse buy things that I saw at Nordstrom Rack, and I'd be like, oh, like they have these name brand designer items and they're at a good price, so I might as well get it. You don't know how often you're going to see this here. You might as well get it. You might as well get it. You're here. You might as well get it. All of that stuff adds up, and it really just causes a ton of clutter like in your home. And that's just, I can't do that type of stuff anymore. Same thing goes with online purchases with clothes. I have a rule of not buying anything the same day that I decide that I want it. And that means that I have to wait until the next day to buy it. And that stops me from buying so many things. Like I will have clothes in my cart at Aritzia, and by the next day, like I don't even think about them anymore. So like, why would I order them the first day? I have realized that 24-hour waiting period really gives me time to think and to realize that I actually don't need what I have in my cart. So no impulse buys. The next one is scarves and twillies. And these are things that I actually really like. I think that they're beautiful. I think that Hermes scarves are just so pretty. I love like the Louis Vuitton scarves. I used to have one. I actually sold it. Not that long ago I sold it because I never use it. My idea was to wear it as a top. I'm never going to do that. I'm just not going to do it. I never do it. I never wear my twillies on my bag. I don't think I like the way that they look on bags. I like the twillies in general though. Like the art is beautiful. I think that those items are so pretty, but I just never use them. So therefore I should never buy them. I don't need twillies. I don't need Hermes scarves. I don't need Louis Vuitton scarves. There does not need to be a silk scarf that comes into this house again. The next one is kind of an odd one. I didn't really know if it fit into this category. So I was leasing a car like 2 years ago, and my lease was almost up and I was going to go turn in my car. It was a Dodge Challenger. I was cute in that car too. I have a car tour of that like from way back when. I loved it so much. But I was going to go turn it in and I was looking for my next car because I was like, well, I want to buy a car this time and not lease one. And I thought about a bunch of different cars at the time. And like not too long after I turned in my lease, I ended up getting a job that was work from home. So I didn't really need to drive to work. And also around that time, my boyfriend got a new car. We would take his car everywhere anyway. I don't really like to drive. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to hold off on getting a car. And then last year, I decided again that I wanted a car because I was like, oh, well, I can just get up and go and do my own thing. Like I don't have to like, wait for anybody, or I don't have to get an Uber anywhere. I was either going to buy a Tesla or a Porsche Macan. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that I didn't, because I really don't need a car. Like my lifestyle does not require a car, and I can just Uber if I need to go somewhere by myself. Because like if you have a car payment plus you have insurance, like you're going to spend like $1,000 a month on the car itself and gas or charging your Tesla, because I live in an apartment. So I'd have to go to a charging station to charge the Tesla. Just with like all that stuff combined, you're probably going to spend about $1,000 a month, right? I am not going to take $1,000 worth of Ubers in a month. Even if I Uber all the time, like I'm not going to get to $1,000. And that's my thing now. Like I'm going to try to go as long as I can without having a car. I really like cars. People are really into cars where I live also, and I get to see all different types of cars out here. So really just looking at them is good enough for me. I don't really need to buy a luxury car. Next one is bags that don't suit my lifestyle. This should be like a no-brainer, and I've talked about this before. I tend to buy bags that I like the way that they look, right? Anybody does. But a couple of years ago, I just wasn't thinking about how they would fit into my lifestyle, and now I think a lot more about how that bag is going to suit me and my actual lifestyle. I would say for like my main more expensive bags, I only have 6. And between those 6 bags, I cover every occasion that I could possibly need. I don't need to have these bags that don't really fit my lifestyle. I'm like, when am I going to wear this? When am I going to actually use this? When will I go out in the house and choose this over one of my 6 bags that I have right now? And I just have a lot better of a thought process when it comes to those things and thinking about what I'm actually going to use versus what I just want to buy because I think it's cute. Next up, designer belts. And I feel like this is a category that a lot of people have on their list now for things that they're no longer buying. I just don't really wear belts. I don't. I have a black belt and I have a brown belt that are just plain leather. I have like one Louis Vuitton belt that I still have that I've thought about selling. And that's pretty much it. And I never use any of those belts at all. Like I use the black one maybe like once a quarter. Like that's it. Like I really don't wear belts a lot, and there's just no point in me buying designer ones even if I think that they're cute. And next, home items, designer home items. I don't need them. I'm specifically talking about the Hermes blanket that I bought a couple years ago and that I ended up selling. Luckily, I ended up getting all the money back that I paid for it when I sold it, so that was really good. But it just sat on my chair, and like, why do I need something that's that expensive to just sit on my chair? Like, I can understand if I was in a position where I had like my whole home like done by a professional interior designer and I had all this expensive furniture, then the Hermes blanket would fit in, but that's just not the case for me. I am not super into home decor. It's just not really my thing. My mom's an interior designer, so as a kid I went to the design center all the time. I went to go to all these places that she was doing, and she's really great at what she does, but like also I was so bored as a kid, and I think that just made me think like I don't really care about furniture and paint, and like I don't care about this stuff anymore. And at some point, if I do buy a house, I would love for my mom to help with the interior design for it, and then maybe we'll get some more expensive furniture, but it's just not really my thing. So why am I spending a ton of money on something that I don't actually care that much about? I can get a cute blanket to go on my sofa from literally anywhere. It'll still be soft, it'll still be nice, it'll still look good. It's just not Hermes, and that's fine. Designer luggage. I'm looking up because my keep all sits on the top of like my closet shelf in here. And I never use it. I've used my keep all like one time and that was it. It's so beautiful though. I keep it because I like looking at it, which I think it's fine to have like one or two pieces like that I own that I just like looking at that I don't sell because I like them being here. I thought about buying the roller suitcase from Louis Vuitton, and I was just like, when am I going to feel comfortable using this? I feel like it makes you a target when you're traveling, and instead I would rather have something that is just going to last a really long time and I don't have to worry about it getting damaged. So instead I bought a Briggs & Riley suitcase. I love that thing. It is probably going to last forever. They do repairs for life, and I actually have a big Briggs & Riley suitcase too that my grandma gave to me when I originally moved to LA like 5 years ago, and the zippers are missing off of it and I didn't know what it was at the time. So I've had it in my closet for like 5 years, and I pulled it out a couple months ago and I saw that it was a Briggs & Riley, and I was like, oh, I can take this to a repair center. They'll give me new zipper pulls and then we'll be good to go. So I'm actually really happy about that because it's like, oh, now I have my 2 Briggs & Riley pieces. I have a big piece and I have a carry-on. So I am perfectly fine with that luggage. That is perfect to me. Like they're both black, they match each other. And yeah, I won't be buying any more designer luggage. Nothing, no travel accessories designer. Like I don't need that stuff. I really don't. It just is gonna make me worry. Last but not least is clothing that is not either black or white or classic. And I don't know what it is, but like when I am shopping for myself and I'm looking at these like designer pieces and I really like this ready to wear stuff, I, for some reason, I'm just not thinking about what I actually wear in real life. Like I tend to mostly wear black in real life. I will wear white, and I will wear things that are more like classic usually. Like I don't really tend to wear more trendy items. It's just not me. But when I'm sitting there looking at that ready to wear, I'm like, oh, I would wear this all the time. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't. Like I wouldn't. And that's why I have that rule in place, because like I lose my mind because things are so pretty. I would totally wear this completely like not my style Dior shirt. Like, no, I wouldn't. I would never wear it. I would never wear it, and I don't need to buy it. I didn't realize how long this video was going to be. I was going to actually add some things that I do buy that I think are worth it, but I think I will save that for a different video because I am looking at how long this is and I don't want to make it even longer. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll put my Instagram on screen as well. I am very, very active there. And let me know in the comments if there are any designer categories that you no longer buy, or what you think is worth it versus what is not worth it when it comes to luxury items. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!